Alright, good afternoon everyone. Welcome to the first session of the Toastmasters International. So it's the first club of its kind, and I'm going to enjoy a lot about what it represents and what it means. So the first thing is that we are going to play a first video. That's a jawbreaker because we don't want to start things on a serious note. I'll play this video.
It's 2 in the morning. You have that big presentation tomorrow. Are you ready?
You don't know how to speak in public. We're all looking at you. You're gonna freeze and forget everything. You're so bad at this.
You probably should have joined that Toastmasters club you heard about, where you get to learn and practice public speaking without embarrassing yourself. Your fellow members are friendly, supportive, and on the same journey as you. And not only that, you'll learn leadership skills when you volunteer for the meeting roles that help keep the club on track and running smoothly. This low-cost, low-pressure learning opportunity will transform your late-night panic into confidence. So stop losing sleep. Visit Toastmasters.org to find a club in your neighborhood today.
Okay. So let's begin. So Toastmasters Club training for high school leadership, public speaking, development. So that's Toastmasters for you. I think you've watched the jawbreaker video about Toastmasters. So let's begin with what it represents and what it means. Alright, so what is Toastmasters? Toastmasters is the global organization for communication and leadership skills. So Toastmasters itself allows you to be able to be a confident speaker once you join this club, and you also learn leadership skills that are going to be relevant in the 21st century world that we are living right now. Another thing is that it helps members become confident speakers and leaders. So given an opportunity to join Toastmasters allow you to become a future leader yourself. You're going to start businesses, you're going to be a leader in your community. Then lastly, it focuses on structured speaking practices and feedback. So the only thing that you have to understand about Toastmasters is that you're supposed to know how to speak well, and you're going to teach you how to speak properly when you go to corporate events, or it's an event at church, or any other corporate event at school. You're supposed to know how to speak properly, and you give feedback. It's constructive feedback, not just any feedback. Then let's look at the origins of Toastmasters. When was it started? It was founded in 1924. It's in California, USA, founded by Ralph C. Smedley. He's the co-founder of Toastmasters. So you see how old it is. It's very old. Then it's now an international organization, Toastmasters International. Right? So let's dive into the other video which talks about what Toastmasters really do and what it represents. Let's try to play this video now.
Hello, I'm Stacy. Thanks for visiting Toastmasters International, where more than 4 million people have become more confident speakers and leaders. They did so by visiting a Toastmasters club in their company or community. When you visit a club, you'll find 3 things. Members give speeches, they take on meeting roles, and they have a great time learning. There's no designated teacher in a Toastmasters meeting. Instead, much of the learning happens by doing a particular task, such as giving a formal speech or filling a particular meeting role. Ready to visit a club? It's free, and you can find one near you on the Toastmasters website at www.toastmasters.org. The purpose of the meeting roles is to help the members improve their speaking and leadership skills by providing feedback and evaluation. There are 7 different meeting roles: Toastmaster of the Day, Counter, Grammarian, Timer, Evaluator, Table Topics Master, and General Evaluator. Every meeting is started by the club president, who introduces the Toastmaster of the Day. The Toastmaster of the Day is the host of the meeting. Fulfilling this role is great practice for leading meetings. The Toastmaster begins by introducing people who will fill other meeting roles for the day. He or she acts like the MC and keeps the meeting flowing smoothly and on time. Many clubs use an counter to document the number of filler words members use while speaking. At the end of each meeting, the awe counter reports how many ahs, ums, and other similar words each speaker used. This helps members become more aware of unintended words or sounds they make when they speak. The grammarian helps members expand their vocabularies. One of the grammarian's duties is to provide a word of the day and its definition. If a member uses the word of the day or says something well, the grammarian calls attention to it. As the name implies, the timer records the exact length of each speech. He or she also uses timing length to help speakers stay within their allocated time limits. The general evaluator takes notes throughout the meeting and reports back to everyone, giving specific feedback on how well the meeting flowed and also on how future meetings might be improved. The general evaluator also calls for reports by the awe counter, grammarian, and timer. In every club meeting, there are at least 2 members who present speeches. These speakers don't just stand up and start talking. They use the guidelines in their designated education manuals to prepare their presentations and reach the objectives for each speech. Every speaker who has prepared speeches in advance enjoys one of Toastmasters' greatest benefits, evaluation. Think of it as having a friend watch you practice a speech and then give you helpful feedback. The speaker usually meets with an evaluator before the meeting and asks the evaluator to pay attention to certain aspects of the talk. After all the speeches are done, the evaluators present their feedback in front of the club, covering areas such as, did the speakers use their hands to gesture well? Did they control their voices throughout the speeches? What did they do especially well, and what are some ideas for improvement? In addition to prepared speeches, a few minutes are set aside for table topics. This is often the most challenging, but also the most fun part of our meetings. During table topics, a series of questions or speaking topics are presented, and members are selected to respond on the spot. This is excellent training for those situations that come up in everyone's lives, where we have to think fast and say just the right thing. It might be a job interview, a sales meeting, or a dinner conversation. Table topics are great for practicing and honing the skills of impromptu speaking. Now that all the reports have been made, the president calls the meeting to a close. Everyone joins Toastmasters with a personal goal. Maybe it's a goal to become a more confident presenter, or learn how to run a meeting, or think faster on your feet. Whatever it is, you can achieve your goal if you participate. So, what's your goal? For more information on the club experience, please visit a Toastmasters club. To learn more about how you can become a better speaker and leader, visit www.toastmasters.org. To find a Toastmasters meeting near you, visit the Find a Club section at www.toastmasters.org.
Okay. I think now everyone is aware of what Toastmasters represent. I think that video was short but explanatory about what Toastmasters is all about. So let's talk about the relevance of Toastmasters to a high school. So I've managed to put a picture of a high school that actually has Toastmasters here. I think you can see the lady here with some text there. So the first thing is that it builds confidence in public speaking and also improves academic presentation. So if you are having problems with presenting your work, either you're doing physics, you're doing business studies, you're doing English literature, Toastmasters allows you to know how can you present well. Even exams, once you learn how Toastmasters is all about, you won't fail. Then at the same time, it develops leadership and teamwork skills. So that's the reason why we give you all the time presentations to do in terms of group work, all those stuff, is to help you understand that teamwork is what helps you to get where you want. Because that's why we have too many in the world. You have heard that it's over 1 million people right now in Toastmasters. Then it prepares learners for university and careers. Once you have confidence, you know what you want after high school. A career that you're going to pick. Am I going to be a doctor? Am I going to be an accountant? What do I want? Toastmasters give you the confidence to choose what you want. Then, let's move on to the benefits of Toastmasters. Because we were asking, what are the benefits if I join this club? What is it for me? So, we started with communication skills, as I have been explaining, leadership development. Sometimes you have to understand that leaders are not born, they are made. In Toastmasters, we believe that you can become a leader at something. You have something, you have ability to do something that you need to be exposed to. At the same time, critical thinking. Nowadays, we're having problems with thinking actually. Because of the new age of AI and artificial intelligence, we're having problems with thinking ourselves. Everything, if you ask any question, we always want to ask ChatGPT. So, Toastmasters changes that framework. It allows you to think critically at an individual level. Confidence building. Some of you might think that it is very difficult for me to stand in front of people, maybe to address an assembly. I can't. I want to tell you one of the most important things that you have to know is that the world outside the gate after upper 6 really wants you to speak up. So if you don't tell them what you want, you'll never get what you want. So we need the inner voice inside you to speak up, to say that I want to do something. But if you're afraid to speak up your mind, that world outside the gate after Form 6 needs you to speak up, because if you don't tell them what you want, the world will not treat you well. You have to be confident about yourself, tell them what you want, demand what you want. Then, networking skills. I was in the conference of Toastmasters when we were being asked what is the most important skill right now in the world. It's networking. The ability to get a job or wherever you want to go. It depends on networking. Who do you know? And who that person can help you to get to. That's networking skills right there. The most important currency right now is knowing someone. That's when Toastmasters clears the picture about people who are very important. For Toastmasters, this club is ended by people who knows what they want. So that's why I'm saying networking now is the new currency. Who you know and who you network with, who is your friend. If you show us your friend, we'll tell you where you'll be in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years from now. If you play someone who do drugs, you're going to end up in prison. So you play with, just show me your friends, I will tell you your future. I will tell you where you'll be in 5 years. I will tell you where you'll be in 50 years from now. It's because of networking skills. Who are you networking with? Then, let's look at the functions of the club. What are we going to be doing if we have this club here? Weekly or monthly speaking meetings. We don't usually do it on a daily basis. Toastmasters is session on a weekly and a monthly basis, whereby you do speaking meetings. And also you do speech practice sessions, evaluations and feedback, and leadership training activities. Because we are all trying to groom you as much as we can. Because without grooming, we don't get anywhere. The reason why we celebrate the great people that we celebrate today is because they've gone through the training. There's someone who mentored them to become someone. I have to be mentored by someone else to become a Toastmaster. I have to be mentored by someone else to become a teacher. So you have to come through someone. Then, the typical meeting structures that we have. I think you saw on the video, there was the opening introductions, where you introduce yourself, who you are, and what are you going to talk about. Then you prepare your speech. Then we will talk about what you call table topics. This is whereby you are given a topic and you are supposed to speak it on the podium, just like that. We are testing your critical thinking skills. That you tell us about money. We give you 5 seconds to do that. Then you tell us the speech. Then evaluation. Evaluation is important because a lot of people right now end up maybe in prison or somewhere else. It's because they were not evaluated by anyone in their lives. No one was telling them what you're doing is wrong until they end up in prison. So in Toastmasters, we evaluate what you do. When you do a speech, you tell you need to improve this and that. In terms of also leading in projects, I want to tell you what to do. Then also have the closing session, as we have mentioned in the video. It is done by the president. He's the one who does the closing session. Then let's move on to public speaking itself, as it is the most core part of Toastmasters. So I want to tell you one of the most important things is that public speaking is not a talent. It's a skill that you can learn, just like a sport. You can learn public speaking just like anyone else, but you have to follow a certain set of rules for you to know public speaking. So the first thing is that public speaking is talking to people in a way that informs, persuades, or inspires them. So one of the most important skills where we are going right now, because we are now living in a digital world of AI, artificial intelligence, people are being replaced by robots, but what cannot be replaced is the human touch, the soft skills, which is the ability to speak publicly, the ability to speak your mind. That's what I mean by soft skills. AI is not going to replace that. That's why even the teachers are still relevant, because machines can't do what we do. Even right now, even the managers that are still relevant in their companies, is because they still have a skill which is public speaking, which cannot be replaced by what? A robot. Then it involves organizing your ideas, speaking in a structured way, using your voice, body language, and confidence to engage listeners. So sometimes you don't even know that you're communicating. So when you use your body language, you are also communicating. That's why people who do sign language, they are also communicating, because the way you move your body, your hand gestures, supposed to communicate with people what you're going to say. That's why you see some of the MCs right now are being hired everywhere by many weddings, planners, and everything, because they've managed to master these things. Knowing how their voice speaks, knowing how to use their body language, and also having confidence to engage listeners. Then, let's move on to what we call gestures and body processes, body language. So body language is your superpower. We can use it effectively to communicate with the audience. So sometimes we need to know that your body language is what tells you, what communicates with the rest of the people. Then also we need to know that your body is a superpower. How you use your body matters. And also great tip for your body, postures breed success. Communication begins before you open your mouth. Sometimes you're already communicating when you're standing in front of people like what I'm doing. You're already communicating before I even open your mouth. You know that I'm going to say something. At the same time, it's important to know that where you stand matters. So if you're going to be doing public speaking or you're presenting any case, you need to know where to stand. So let's try to know which is the best place to stand when you are presenting a case. Let's do 3 things. Let's say I was presenting my case right now in this presentation. I was standing here at the door. I think you saw the aeroplane crossing, right? So maybe I was standing here now and I'm doing a presentation here. Is it a great position? And also maybe standing by the window there at the window. Then there are people passing, then there are distractions there. And also it's affecting the way you try to make my speech. But the best position right now is standing what? At the center, right? That's the position. It gets to a point where you can stand. At the same time, I'm trying to use this presentation that you can see. That's why I'm standing next to the presentation, right? Yes. So you have to know where you stand matters. So we have what we call a power position. Standing at the center of the room matters. Then let's talk about types of gestures. There are different types of gestures that we can use where we can communicate with different people for different reasons. So, like I said, gestures help us to communicate with our audience, and they will remember twice as much when you use gestures. So this is the type of gestures that I want to show you. We have what we call the give, the show, and the chop. So let's start with the give. The give is like you're explaining certain things which are very important, but you're putting your arms like this. You're trying to compare certain things together. You can say that people on the right were listening better to my speech than people on the left, you see. So this is what we call the one way where you're trying to invite everyone. You're trying to give a powerful speech. Then we have what we call the show. The show is where you're trying to explain one of the most important things that we have come across. Maybe you went to a wedding, you can say that the bride and the groom were very well dressed. You're trying to show a powerful point. That's what we call the give, right? Then the show is where you do the chop, this one. It's where you can do a double chop or you can do a one chop. It's where you're trying to explain a very important point. Like I can say that this Toastmasters session was the best session that I ever did with students of Chiredzi High School. It's a double chop. So I'm trying to express what a very important point. That's what we call what? The chop. So we have the give, the show, and the chop. Right. So these are the 3 sets of gestures. There are other gestures that you can use, but these are the most common ones which makes you present well. Then we move on to the use of palms. How you use your hands like this. So when you use palms, we have to know the percentages of people who are going to remember what you're going to say. So the first thing is that when you are using palms up, like you're trying to explain your cases using the palms up, 84% of the people you're talking to remember what you say. You can say that people on the right were listening very well to my presentation as compared to on the right, on the left, right. Then if you are using your palms down, remember your hands are much more down there. Then a lot of people will not remember much of the things that you say, but there's still a greater margin, 52%. Remember what you say if you use palms down. You're explaining something, maybe you're using palms down. But this one, of pointing fingers now, the finger wave. We call it the finger wave. This one is not allowed. It's 28%. So no one will respect you if you throw their fingers like this. Like I was saying. So we don't want you to be using this one. This gesture here. This one is not very good. So if you see someone who does these things, usually the politicians, they point fingers at their audience like this because it's an arrogant behavior of not respecting who you are talking to. Right? So let's move on to what you call the thing or the silly gestures. So you have gestures which are very silly that if you use them, no one will respect you even in church or anywhere else. It's because you are doing silly gestures in front of them. This one was used by President Clinton. Avoid the finger wherever he was. That's why I say that it's much more used by the politicians, wherever he's pointing the finger at someone like this. Then this one, I think you know this cartoon, right? What is the name of this cartoon? Yes, I think you know it from growing up. It does silly gestures, right? Yes. Because this one is always using silly gestures like this. So we don't want those silly gestures. So don't be like this cartoon. So it's actually grooming people, learners or children who are going to be very bad and doing public speaking, because this cartoon is doing very bad for those of us who are watching it, your other siblings. Then the other thing that we should do is pay attention to your audience. The body language. Also, you are presenting a case, but also pay attention to the audience. Are they listening to what I'm saying? I think you've got to have some of the other revivals whereby the preacher is trying hard, but no one is listening to what he's saying. This is what happens when you don't do well in public speaking, because they won't pay attention to what you are saying. And so that's when you are trying to say that as a speaker, try by all means to focus on your audience. Face the audience, do the icon of the audience, so that you know that they're still listening to what I'm saying. So sometimes the church is another sign of telling that your time is up, right? Yes. Sometimes we are trying to tell the preacher that the time is up by the body language of the crowd. He's supposed to see that. But let me just end my service here. Right? So he's supposed to see that and what the audience is doing. Then, so the other thing is that we have to understand that you are the guide. The one who is speaking, you are doing public speaking in front of people. You are the one guiding people towards a common goal. So guide them well. Just like a driver who is driving a car. You are the one guiding people. Drive them well where they want to go to the destination. Right? Then, let's move on to some key club roles that we are going to be occupying, some of us, right? So we have the president, who's going to be leading the club. Also we have the vice president of education, the vice president of membership, the vice president of public relations. So we're going to have 3 vice presidents. Then we are going to have the secretary and the treasurer, then the sergeant of arms and the school patron, right? So already you're lucky that you have a school patron who does Toastmasters. So we are on a good note there. The rules explained. The president leads the club. So if you are going to see the success of this club in Chiredzi Government High School, it's going to be determined by the one who is leading it. So if he's going to collapse, he has to be answerable to that. Then the VP of Education organize training and speeches. Then the VP of Membership recruit and support members. So I think you have to look for someone who did help you to come here in your numbers for that post, who was able to say that no, today we have Toastmasters at 2 p.m. So that person needs to be given that role. You are going to vote for those people. Then we have the secretary. I know you know 1 or 2 people who love recording records. Someone who came to even the session like today with a pen and a book. That one should be the secretary. Yes. If you came without writing anything down, which means the secretary was going to be harder for you. Because someone who noted that this Toastmaster session is supposed to write something when you start doing the session. Then the treasurer manages funds. This one is a very important post because you have to answer from the feedback on where the funds are going and what happened. Yes. So it's not about doing accounts or doing sciences or doing arts. You just want someone who is managing well. Then lastly, we have the sergeant of arms. He manages meeting setup. So this one is very important also because his or her job is to make sure that the Toastmasters sessions are being done accurately. Which means he or she gives feedback that things are being done properly. Then we have what's called the code of ethics. So we are going to be reading the code of ethics together. So so that we know what we are signing up for. So when you all write, you can bring the photo. Can you read the first one? You should respect all members, right? No one is above anyone. I think you listened to the video that was played on the interactive board. But everyone is as important as it is. In Toastmasters, there's no hiring. You can even tell even your, unfortunately, you can tell your school patron that they're not going to talk about that. That you are supposed to respect all your members. Either you're going to be the president, you're going to be the treasurer, you're going to be the vice president. Respect all members. Next.
Encourage positive feedback.
Just because we allow you to give feedback with Toastmasters doesn't mean that you have to give bad feedback. We only give constructive feedback here. Someone has done a speech, respect what that person has done, and then give them what? Positive feedback. Even if you're telling them ways to adjust their speech, tell them properly. What else? I think you've already explained that one, right? Next one. Yes, don't expect anyone to be making noise when you are going to be doing just Toastmasters. Someone is doing a speech here, then you are busy making noise. You are not Toastmaster material if you are going to be doing that. Then, not quoted lady. So the most important thing about Toastmasters is that we are trying to groom you to become ladies and gentlemen. So that when you organize events of Toastmasters, if you go to other hip schools, we need to know that we have good people who are going to represent us. If you are going to be going to dinners or anything else, we need people who know things properly. And then let's read again the constitution, the club's constitution, then we can sit down. Yes. Yes, we can't have a club, we don't set the rules and the structure of the club. I think you've said some of the rules first, that our club, you can speak as much as you want, shown outside the club jurisdiction. But when you are doing Toastmasters, you have to speak in English, because it's an English speaking club. I think you've seen some of the videos, they are white people, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's respect. Then next. Yes. We define membership and leadership terms. So the only way that we are going to identify you, we are going to be giving you what you call the club tags, which you are going to put on your blazer. That allows us to know that he or she is a member of our club. Then we know that you are with us forever. Then next.
Meeting procedures.
Yes, we don't just do Toastmaster sessions. We don't have any outline of meetings that we want to do. It's better to postpone the meetings. Even if we don't have an agenda that we want to do. We don't just do Toastmaster sessions that's out of the blue. Let's say today we are doing this. We outline what we want to do. And lastly,
Ensure fairness in organization.
ensure fairness in organization. Thank you. You can sit down. Alright. So the Toastmasters board, I think it's been repeated again. There are some other posts we should not mention when we did the first one. So the other post, we have what you call the toe twister. So this one is the person who makes the club interesting, who organizes events. So I think you know someone who just makes things interesting in a club. We will be expecting that person to take up this role of tail twister. Yes. Then we also have the project director. This person allows us to make sure that we find ways to raise money or fundraising or doing something. If we have any target, what we want to do, we expect this person to know what we want to do. And last, we have the teacher advisor or the partner, right? Then you talk about tutoring the club. We're not going to talk about this much in detail. We have been told here we are recruiting minimum members. Then official register of the club, assign leadership roles, approval from the scholarship administration. The reason why we are doing this Toastmasters session today was to serve to have approval of the school administration and to give it approval. That's why we are here. Right? Then, how to start the club? Because the interested students, I think we are all interested students, are you? Get teacher support. I was the one who actually gave you support, and say also gave you the support to us to have this club, right? And then hold first meetings. This is also our first meeting, also is our first training, our orientation at the same time, right? Then assign roles, set meetings stages, right? Then the meeting agenda, I think some of the things we do talk about it on the other video. Then let's look at evaluation systems. Speakers receive feedback, focus on improvement, not criticism. So when you're in Toastmasters, we really want you to know that you are not perfect. And you are going to be told things that you are not supposed to improve. So in Toastmasters, you take the things down when the evaluator comes in front of you, tells you that the speech was not doing this and that, and your body gestures were not doing this and that. You should be able to take that note. Next time when you do a speech, you improve on those things. That's how you become better. We only become better through practice and practice and practice. Then, encourage learning through mistakes. You are going to make a lot of mistakes. Maybe in our first meeting, you are not there and the Toastmasters are right? They have the table topic master. They have what called the grammarian. This person is supposed to correct you in terms of the grammar that you're going to use. He or she is supposed to listen throughout the speech. Look, what words were you using? Were they good? And what can you do to improve? Then the hour counter is make sure that if you do a lot of hours in your speech, he or she writes them down. If they are 10, they are 5, they are written down so that you can improve. They are there to give you the feedback that you improve. Next time maybe you might have 5 hours, then over time you don't have any hours at all. Right? Then we have the evaluators that they want to give the feedback to everyone about the rest of the meeting. Then we go to the conclusion. Toastmasters build leaders, future leaders, help students speak confidently, encourage teamwork and discipline. Every student can go through practice. Like I said, public speaking is not a talent, it's a skill that can be learned. Everyone can be a public speaker, everyone can be a leader, everyone is groomed. So that's what Toastmasters represent. And that's what Toastmasters is all about. So thank you so much for coming. Can you play this for me?